Today I'm looking at the CloudVocal FlashTrack microphone. This is a microphone with a built-in digital signal processor which allows you to adjust the sound, add effects like reverb and EQ and things like that, as well as adjust your EQ and simulate other mics without external software or plugins. You just plug it into your computer and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do in this video is, I think before we do anything, I'm just going to play something for you, play a piece of music for you using the microphone, and just the microphone without any of the effects. So you can just hear the microphone itself and enjoy some music. And then I'll show you a close-up of the product, and I'll show you the digital readout and all the different settings and effects that you can do with this. And then I'll do some sound tests with the EQ and with the effects, so you can hear more of what the capabilities are of the microphone. And then finally we'll have a discussion on the benefits of this microphone, the uses, who's going to like it, what it's great for, and also any concerns or comparisons to other mics that we might want to make. But before we do any of that, I think we should just play some music. But make sure you check out the full review. There's a link for that in the description. In the full review, you'll see a lot more specs on the mic, as well as information and links to where you can purchase the microphone. But first, let's just hear some music and try out the microphone itself. So here you can see the FlashTrack up close. It's a very rugged design. Here's the back. With all your inputs. This rubber pad on the bottom is actually great because if you're not using the tripod, you can just place it on your table, which is really convenient for some people probably. That said, putting the tripod on, it's really fast and simple. So here it is on the tripod, which allows you to angle it in any way that you want and kind of just position it, you know, towards your voice or towards your instrument. It also comes with a pop filter, which you can pop on the front to get rid of those pop noises in your voice. So here we have it plugged in so we can look at the display. There's a quick mute button right on the front of the mic. So if you hold that down, we're muted. And then if we put it back on, hold it down, we're back. So it's all very easy to control. If we push the volume, you just turn this dial, you can adjust the volume. Go back to metering there. For the EQ, you can press the EQ. So we can have just the basic flat EQ of the mic itself, or a warm setting. Clear, bright, or my EQ, where you can adjust that, and I'll show you that option in just a second. Compression, you can have it off, of course. There's a number of presets ending in my compression, or a custom-made compression just for you. Same thing with reverb. can have it off, of course. And there's a number of presets. And then my reverb, where you can custom make your own reverb for your own needs and purposes. Now, one last thing is the IR. So this is just the mic itself, but then we also have mic modeling. So we have a ribbon mic or a dynamic mic. So lots of different changes you can make to the mic sound. Let's take a look at that custom option. So if we go to EQ and we go to My EQ, so we go through it until we reach My EQ, then we hold that button down. Here is our adjustments. So just by turning this knob, I'm not sure if you can see that on the display there, but it does change settings there. You can go through each of them and create a custom EQ just for your instrument or voice. I think this is particularly important for classical guitar because our instrument has a lot of mid-range and bass, and I think it's really tough with classical guitar sometimes, so making sure you can get the right EQ is so important. And here you have it right on the mic itself. So no matter where you're plugging into, you can have the My EQ set up. Same thing with the compression. If you just hold it down, you can create a custom compression with all the options that you need. Same thing with My Reverb. If you go through all the settings here, you can create a custom reverb. So that's just a quick look at the controls and how easy it is to control the device. Okay, let's have a little discussion about the product. I'll just talk about it a little bit, and then we'll talk about comparisons and critiques and things like that. So obviously where this product really shines, I would say, is just in the realm of having everything built into one device. If you're on the fly and you're recording to maybe your phone and you don't want to do post-production on your phone, or if you're in a live situation, like you're on a Zoom lesson or something like that, and you want a little control over your EQ, having it all built into one unit instead of going through like interfaces and things like that is a lot less complicated. You just plug this in, you've become familiar with the settings, and you just plug it in and you're good to go. So obviously in those situations, that can be very, very helpful. Now, in terms of just owning a USB mic, if you're on the market for that, the decision you'll have to make is that if you want to go with like a real simple mic. So for example, the mic I usually use for Zoom calls and for other, even sometimes recording, is this Audio-Technica mic. It's a USB mic. You just plug it in and you're good to go. But there's no built-in anything. It's just a volume knob. It's a high quality microphone, and that's what it mainly does, right? And in terms of just getting a microphone, this is like a superior microphone for sure. Lower noise level, just really, really pristine sound. I'm super impressed with it. But like I said, it only has a volume knob. It doesn't have any EQ. It doesn't have anything like that. So what you really have to think about is what you're using the microphone for, and whether you want that advantage or not of having a built-in system like that. If you're recording and you need like a relatively affordable system and you don't want to get into interfaces and things like that, a USB microphone is really great. And to tell you the truth, post-production these days does really well with EQ and reverb and compression and all those things. Super adjustable, right? Like post EQ on your DAW, on your recording software is the sky's the limit. It's really quite impressive these days. But then you have to get into that whole world, whereas in some situations you're not able to do that. So that's where this product will shine, of course. But in terms of just like having a great quality microphone, there's lots of options out there, but they don't have all these built-in options. So very interesting product in that regard. I think I'm really most interested in using it in live streaming situations. Like if I could use this on Zoom and I could have a little bit of control over the EQ, maybe just a touch of reverb, that might help the sound in those situations if you're live streaming. Now, in terms of the classical guitar using this product, I would say for all the settings, the classical guitarist is going to want to go super subtle. So like on the EQ, I would almost go flat with it. I would just make a small adjustment, take down a little bit of the highs and lows and take down the mid-range just a little bit. Compression, I generally wouldn't use compression. I think for classical guitar, it makes it a little unnatural, but if you did use it, I would just bring it way down. Like when I adjusted the my compression, my setting was like the noise, the amount was just so little. Same thing in the reverb. I think when I used my reverb, so the custom setting, I just tried to make it as subtle as possible, just adding just a hint, almost to the point where it's not noticeable, but enough to just like bring out a little bit of reverberation to mimic maybe if you were in a slightly larger space. And to help with the legato, because it can be so dry recording just without any reverb. So in terms of this product, yeah, the classical guitarist is going to use it in a very subtle manner. But, even a little bit of that could be really useful in certain situations. In other situations, I mean, this USB mic, if I wanted a simple setup to just plug in, I mean, this is a really high quality mic. I really love this mic. And there's plenty of other ones. It's not this brand. It's just like, if you spend the money on a single microphone with no electronics involved, you're going to get a high quality mic. However, we can't ignore the advantages of having these built-in things. So I guess it depends on what you're looking for and what situations you're going to use it for, and whether you want to deal with other technologies along the way, because obviously a pro setup is going to have just like interfaces and tons of this stuff that you can use all your built-in EQ and reverbs and stuff like that as you do this, but that's a lot more gear. It's a totally different situation. So for what this product is and the price of it, it's a really cool and interesting product because it comes with all that, and that's very interesting to me. I really wanted to try it out, and I'm so glad that they sent it to me, and I'm interested in using it more and experimenting with it a lot more to see what I can get out of it, and just to see if I can add a little bit of subtle extras to certain situations.